Okay, I started filling out this one here, and we kind of went over this in class, but just to show you here, the bathtub problem. Here's what it says. It says that after 40 seconds, you have 13 gallons of water left in the tub. So there was a certain amount at the beginning. We don't know what that is. After 1 minute, you pull the plug. After you pull the plug, there are 10 gallons left. And so what you can see here is you got to just try to think. Again, I'm going to guess here that time is my independent. So that's like my x value. So when I look at this one here, I'm looking at it going, well, I know that after 40 seconds, so let's see here, after 40, let's do my scrap paperwork. After 40, I had 13. After 60 seconds, pardon me, after 60 seconds, I had 10. Can you see what's happening here? And the reason I'm saying 60 seconds is because it's 1 minute, and that's 60 seconds. I want them to be the same unit. Every 20 seconds, I'm losing 3. In other words, I guess after every 10, I guess I would be losing 1.5. I can already start seeing the trend here. What I do when I set up my equation is I say, well, I wonder, and how I got this equation is I wonder what the slope would be. That's what I got to figure out first. And I can get it from just these two values right here. Again, once I've identified here that the time, okay, is the x, and the y values, or the f of x, the functions, are the gallons, the number of gallons, because it depends on how much time has gone by of water. What I can do here is I can find out what the slope is. And now the slope here, I'm just going to call it m, the slope here is going to be, well, it's final minus initial. So if I look at this one here, my final one in this question is going to be 10 minus 13. That's my y's. 10 minus 13 over 60 minus 40. And what that will give you is that's actually going to give you a negative 3 over 20. What the negative means is that we're decreasing. And you can see, as time goes on, 60 seconds, 80 seconds, that water's emptying. And so I'm going to have less in the tub. And that's why I'm getting this negative 3 over 20. Okay, that's where I got this from. Now, just to show you, where did I get the rest of this value from? So that's where I got the slope. How did I get the y-intercept here, the plus b? Well, what I did is I kind of worked backwards, and I said, okay, at 40 seconds I have 13, so let's just kind of work through it. At 40 I had 13. At 60 I had 10. Obviously at 20 seconds, you can see what's happening here is I should have the same jump because it's linear, and so I should have 16. Well, at 0 seconds, how much did I start with? Well, obviously that's still going up by plus 3, because that's what each one of these is doing, in which case I'm going to have 19. And that's how I got this 19. I know when x equals 0, okay, at time 0, I had 19 gallons. And from this equation, once I have the equation, I can do all my answers. Now I can say, oh, how much is left after 20 seconds? Well, you can see here I had 16. But of course, if I plug it in the formula of x, or time here being 20, I'll get 16 grams. Same thing at 50. At 50, I'm going to have 11 and a half. And you can see that's right in between here. Here's where 50 would be. Again, I'm just plugging these in. This is a different question. Now they're asking you for the x. At what time will there be 7 gallons left in the tub? Well, remember, that's my function now. I want to know what x value is when that's 7. And if I plug this in and move it around, I'm going to get 80 seconds, which makes sense here because, again, that's a difference of 3, so I must be adding another 80 or another 20. And so you can kind of see what's happening here, just kind of reasoning that out. The y-intercept, again, I found that out. What does that mean? It means my starting point, how much gallons I had in the tub at the beginning. It doesn't make sense to go beyond that because there's no negative time. The X-intercept, what does it mean? Well, it means when you exactly run out of, now I said gas here. I guess I meant to say, is this a bathtub? So it must be water. So that actually should be water here. But it's when you run out of water. Okay, it's when you totally run out of water at 126.7. After that, it doesn't make sense because you're going to get a negative gallons, which doesn't make sense. And of course, if I graph this thing, the starting point is right here at 19, and it ends on the x-axis of 126.7 seconds. And so that's kind of what this whole graphing formula will look like.